Come get it, Maya.
Well, hi everybody, it's Joe Blacker here, your club coach, and as you can see, once again, I'm back down at the clubhouse because I have something special for you tonight. Behind me, I have a very diverse group of ladies from our club who have given me a lot of their time tonight to answer some questions and go through some topics related to female football. So thank you guys, appreciate you being here, brilliant. Righty-ho, we've finally sat down at the table. We've got everybody organised. Ladies, before I get started, I just want to say an absolute massive thank you from myself and the club for you giving up your time to be here today. I know some of you have come directly from training. Some of you should be training. It's probably better inside. It's cold out there, right? Some of you should be out there. And just like me, you should be at home watching an episode of some crazy TV show like Farmer Wants a Wife or something like that, okay? So don't panic. I'm recording, so I'll be okay. I can watch it later. Anyways, look, just so everyone knows what's going on here, can you get you to introduce yourselves just a little bit, maybe a 30-second, just a quick bio, speed dating style thing. Just tell us about yourself, whether you're a referee, whether you're coaching, how long you've been playing, do you do other stuff outside of football as well? Yeah, so Amelia, can you start, please?
I'm Amelia. I've only started playing for Winston Hills this year. I do refereeing on Saturdays and Sundays, and I dance outside of school.
I'm Lisa. I started when I was 16, had some time off when I had kids, and now I've been back with the Bears for 5 years playing, 6 years with the kids. I assistant coach to my daughter's team and assistant manager to my son's team, and I play Friday nights with the over 30s and Sunday with the all age.
I've been playing for 6 years now. I've stayed with the club and at one stage I was doing refereeing.
My name's Loredana. I've been playing since I was 12. Played for a couple of different teams, including Parramatta FC at the State League. Took a couple of years off, not by choice because of injury. And this is my first year back playing with Winston.
I'm Valentina. I started playing when I was 12 years old for a club, and I've been playing around Blacktown. I've been playing with Winston Hills for the last 5 years, and this is my second year post ACL surgery, and I used to referee when I was 17 as well for a few years, and yeah, hoping for a grand final win this year.
I'm Elise. I've been playing since I was 9, and I've been with Winston Hills ever since. This is my first season back since an ACL as well. Had 2 years off.
Wow, a lot of ACL. How many ACLs at this table is there? Like,
We're lacking.
we're lacking. Wow, incredible. Lacking ACLs, a good call. Right, so you pretty much sort of told me when you started playing football, but can a couple of you just tell me why you started playing football? Did your parents rope you into it? Did you just get into it at school? Lisa, maybe. Come on, Lisa.
I always wanted to play soccer, and my parents always said no, it was too dangerous. So I forged their signature, joined rugby union. One game, they said I could play soccer if I quit.
You're very clever, aren't you? That's very clever. I love that. Anyone else?
I just started playing at school for the first time I tried it. They just, tried to get everyone in, all boys and girls together. And then I liked it and I wanted to keep playing, but my parents also were like, no, you can't play, you're a girl, blah, blah, blah. But then my brother joined the club. I'm like, why can't I join a club? So I did as well for Prospect. Okay.
Excellent.
I had a friend that told me she played a grand final at Parramatta Stadium. And I was like, that'd be so cool to play in a stadium. So then I started playing and I've never made it to a grand final. So still working on it.
There's time.
Yeah.
There's always time. That's what I tell myself. There's the Masters coming up soon, so I could play in that at some stage. There's always time. Okay. I've never had any issues with this. Motivation, I always find a way to get myself moving, but it's hard, right? Get yourself out of bed sometimes, especially, if you're looking after kids. Maybe we were talking about how you may have had a big day at work as well. So it can be hard to get here at 7:30 on a Wednesday night and get out in that footy field. So other than making a grand final at a Parramatta Stadium somewhere, what motivates you to get along to training?
Fitness, really, and accountability. Like, I feel like I have to go, otherwise I'm letting the team down.
It's a big social thing, I think, with our team. Like, we all get along really well. We do a lot of Macca's runs after our training. Not very effective, but it's, one of my favourite parts of the season.
Okay, so the social side of it's a big aspect, yeah?
Yeah, mine's just my mum.
She drags you along here. Got to go where she's going. Yeah. So, Amelia, are you going to say something?
Oh, I was going to say that it's just something different to do. Like, I've never really played it, and then it's really fun to just try something new.
It is certainly, yeah. And it's one of those, I find it's one of those sports where you can continuously keep learning. There's always something new to learn. Yeah, so it's exciting that way. Okay, a little bit of a strange question, but where do you see yourselves in 5 years' time? Like, are you still going to be playing? Is that the plan?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
The plan, maybe over 30s by that time.
Yeah.
We're not so bad.
Or just do what you're doing, double headers every weekend.
Yeah, so you're doing Fridays and Saturdays as well, Lisa?
Fridays and Sundays, yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays, excuse me. Excellent. It's a great way to go about it. Okay, does anyone here coach by any chance? No coaches?
My
Right.
assistant coach Charlotte's team.
Your assistant coach, Charlotte. Okay, so first question then is, why don't you coach? Is it a time thing? Is it you think it might be too hard to coach? Do you have to know? Why? Why not coach? Because I particularly love it.
For me, I think it's something I'd like to do, but at this point, I'm still like too involved. As in, I wouldn't be able to be on the sideline and stop myself from wanting to be on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, while I can, and while I'm still enjoying it, and these girls in this team, I'm definitely going to continue playing. But then after that, I think coaching is a great way to stay within the football community.
Certainly is, and you're correct. It is hard to be on the sideline. Yeah, when you're
maybe
coaching.
that will never change.
It is, yeah. Female coaches, do we need more? Yeah.
So,
Why? Why do we need more?
really good at everything.
True, I totally agree. I personally, we do need more female football coaches because you just bring so many different aspects to the game, to the coaching side of it. On an intelligence level, it's very different as well. Communication level, it's very different as well. Heading down, feels like I'm taking over the interview. Sorry, Jaron, what is your life story? But I found that I'm actually trying to spend more time with female coaches and inspirational females so that I can change the way that I do coach. Because there's different ways to get through to people and different.
I do think it helps on Charlotte's team. We've got one of the fathers and me coaching, that some kids respond better to him, some respond better to me. It depends on what it is and how you're explaining it.
Yeah, definitely do. So you've had Adam coaching your team for probably 6 years now, is that right? 6 years? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much since you started.
Yeah. And how's that going?
A bit loud.
A bit loud? Is he a bit loud or you're a bit loud? Taking into account I've been part of your team, so I know. Adam? Yeah, I think that's again, coming back to like the female side of it, like I feel as a male, I raise my voice more, and that's how I get my point of view across. I'm a drill sergeant sort of style, whereas I don't think female coaches would be like that. What do you think?
Mum is though.
Yeah, I think it can really depend on personality.
Okay.
Style of coaching.
Yeah, because I've also had male coaches that are maybe more like loud, direct, or however you want to frame it, but also other male coaches that are less so.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily like a male-female thing.
Okay.
I think it's just a personality thing.
Yeah, and I think like I definitely had a lot of fierce dance teachers growing up. Like they can definitely be ruthless, but in soccer, like growing up, like it's probably changing more nowadays. But growing up, it's like, oh, I wonder if any of the dads will coach. It's just like a stereotype that's still coming out. It's not like people are intentionally doing it. It's just the way that people think about it, I guess. Same with dance teaching. I never had a guy like.
Do you have male teachers
Not
for
at
dancing?
us, not at home,
Or
but
you dance?
like, sometimes you get them for like workshops.
Yeah, only a workshop, but I've never had them
Yeah.
permanent.
Yeah.
So my daughter dances 4 nights a week as well, and she says the female instructors are way harder than the male instructors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose it's that. Yeah, it's that kind of sport. Okay. Favorite moment as a female footballer? Yeah, you've probably wanted to score a goal or something like that. Or you have scored an amazing goal. So what is it? Come on, here's your chance to tell the world your best story about your favorite moment. Anyone? Come on.
As a female footballer.
Yeah.
In like end of primary school, early high school, I played in the mixed team at school, and a lot of the boys tried to convince the teacher not to let me and my friend join the team because it was, like I said, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago now, that girls can't play and everything. And we got in and they ended up being the ones that were benched because they just weren't as
Couldn't make
good.
the cut.
And
Love
we were
it.
up in strikers getting the goals, and it was a sweet moment.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to quickly add on to that then. So if you could go back in time and talk to that young girl, what would you say to her?
Oh, don't worry about them. Just
Yeah.
go out there and Do your best. Do
Yeah.
prove them wrong.
Have anyone else had a moment like that where you wish you could go back and just change things 5 years ago? I'm sure we all do,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's things you're just going, oh, really? Why didn't I just stick to it 5 years ago? Anyone got an example of that? Anyone?
I think for me it would be pushing to play for like higher level teams earlier on. Obviously they existed, but I just wasn't aware of them until like other people around me, like other guys, sort of brought me along and told me about it. Otherwise, it was outside of my knowledge. I think now it's more known that the sky's the limit, really. But I just thought like playing for Pendle Hill on a Sunday or for Winstow was it.
Yeah.
And then in a different vein, I would go back and change the moment before I had my injuries and be like, pull out of that tackle or, don't do that. Yeah, that's what I'd change.
I guess for me, I wish I'd never stopped. Looking back now, it was all too hard when you have 2 young kids. But going back, it was easier than I thought, and I wish I'd never stopped.
Okay. Throughout my life, and I'm not that old, I've had a lot of inspirational men, particularly my mum, and females in my life. Not people I follow online, not Instagram, none of that sort of stuff. People I actually know, I talk to, I relate to, I've spent a lot of time with, and people that have motivated me and have inspired me to do great things with my life, right? Anybody in your world that's done that for you, that's inspired you to continue with football? It could be a coach, it could be anybody, a teacher, anyone.
Hayley from the club here.
Yeah.
She roped me back into it when the kids started here, and she's here every weekend. She gives selflessly, and she makes us want to help, don't we?
I think it's really my team because I feel like if I stop, then kind of letting down the whole.
Okay. Anyone else? No?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing with my team.
Yep. So it's that camaraderie, that social side of it, that's
I've
excellent.
played with some of them for like 10 years in a row, so we're
Yeah.
pretty close now.
Okay, so jumping forward in my question then, so you're talking about the camaraderie you have as a team, yeah? How could we possibly create that as a club? Understand what I mean? Like I've belonged to some really cool clubs over my time with the career that I've had. One of my favourite things was the support I felt whenever I was part of a club. Like if I needed a job, you went to the club. If you were hard up in times and you needed someone to look after you, you went to the club. Like long story short, was left home when I was quite young. The club looked after me. So how can we create that sort of culture here, or is that culture already here at Winstow?
I think so. To a certain extent, it is, but I think because games are spread from Friday to Sunday, you don't have that. Like if it's a rugby league club, everyone's there on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's not spread over the whole weekend. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't know many of the boys that play on Saturday. I'm not inclined to go watch one of their games, and they're probably the same with our games on Sunday.
Yep.
So I think maybe more events where it brings the entire club together.
Cool. Yep. Any other ideas?
Yeah, like you said, more events like where it was just like a random barbecue on, like even on the off season, things like that. People come join, not just like end of season. Or presentation night. Like that's the only really time we all get together, and not everyone even goes to that. Or like I've definitely been at clubs where like, oh, I don't really want to mingle, but I felt like I always want to come to the Winstow ones. So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Pre-season
yeah,
drinks
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and I think
Pre-season
it's also up to the teams as well to do that sort of social stuff as well. Like this team does it really well. Where I've been in teams, like especially if you've got younger players, like you can't just go to the pub after the games. Like the young people in team, especially knowledge, they're very mixed. So just something age appropriate for everyone.
Like McDonald's.
Yeah,
McDonald's has no
McDonald's.
age limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'd just be easier if you could like work out ways to mesh like the young and the old together. Like you said, like why don't we coach? Like if there's teams that are struggling to find a coach, maybe some of us village ladies will pair up and do it or something. And then on the weekend we see them, we say hi, and they start talking to more people.
And they might come watch your games, and
Yeah, we'll be at theirs, and all the parents who then might be playing with you, and yeah.
Yeah.
a sense of community.
Even
Yeah.
integrating with the boys' teams, like because you mentioned you don't have much, to do with them. Like they play in certain cups and things like that as well. So maybe if Winstow put that out on, they probably do put it on social media, but like having trying to make a real big team spirit about it and get people from the club going there to
Yeah.
support like those
Organising whole teams to go watch rather than just
Yeah.
individuals.
Yeah, particularly those bigger games, not necessarily just an average Saturday, but could start at the bigger games and work down to just a Saturday game.
Maybe even teaming up teams to train together too. So you do individual train and you play against them and you get to know people that
Well, I
way.
remember doing those trainings with you when we were doing the prems, the men's and the
So
women's.
a couple of years back.
It was
yeah.
a couple of years back now, but I thought that was good. Like, even though you don't get to really mingle, but it was just good to train with other teams because more numbers, it just makes training just way better.
Yeah, so I brought all of you together for pre-season, didn't I?
Yeah, and you killed us.
Yeah, and she's still alive. Look, you can kill her at all. And I did that on purpose because none of you knew each other, and I felt that was wrong. Yeah, and that's one of the. And I'm glad everything you've just talked about are things that we are trying to do at the club right now. We are working on those changes. Like Saturday, we had 250 people down here for the Brems game, which we haven't had in about 5 to 6 years, and that was because we had the Bear Cubs there coming out with us. So we're working really hard on that. So I'm glad you guys have sort of pointed out some of the things we are doing. So we're heading in the right direction. Thank you. So, but if you ever have any ideas or anything you think we could do to keep growing this culture, please let us know. Okay, always pass that forward. Okay, now a little bit I don't know, more nitty gritty these ones. So I really want to know, what's your biggest frustration around female football right now? What's the thing that just really grinds you? It doesn't keep you awake at night, but it's annoying.
Mine would be when we were like
Well,
meant to go to the bigger field and we weren't, even though the boys were on full field. It was very
So
frustrating.
the under 13 girls had to play box to box, and that season they got 2 games box to box. The rest of the games were on half field because, one, I don't know if all the clubs knew the rule or if they had the space or what it was, but it was not good for our girls. They were ready for the full field, and I think it held them back with their soccer. And now this year they've gone from 25 minutes on basically half field to 35 minutes on a full field, and they're struggling.
Yeah, so
fitness-wise.
So that comes down to the just the association that we're playing in and what they decide to do at the time. Yeah, it's just that's one of those things that's just out of our control. But it is 100%. It's a frustration. Anything else? What else is grinding your gears? Come on.
For me, it's just teams that are in the wrong division. Like, we don't really have grading, and it's not just in Hills, like in Blacktown as well. I would always feel like this team needs to be in Div 1 or this team should be in like Div 3. It's just very unfair, and it just makes it not fun when you're either getting smashed by the competition each week for those teams that are, or like it's not fun if you're winning each game and it's not competition. Like, I don't know, it's hard to grade everyone, but I think it needs to something has to be implemented there across associations because it's not fair. And then like it's happened where teams have dropped after a few weeks, and then now we've got buys and everything's out of whack. It's just, that's my frustration.
Yeah, definitely. And I think because all of our divisions have less teams generally speaking. We have less girls playing.
And less
It's
divisions.
harder to fix that problem without more girls playing. And like another thing that isn't club level, it's more like association, I guess. But our home games are never home. Like, we'll be traveling to Kellyville, and that's our, like, as a Winster team, home ground for that day. Like, I always found that a little bit odd, and sometimes people do it for convenience. They want to be at their home field every second weekend or something, and we end up not playing there for 6 weeks. So the boys seem to have it sorted. I don't know.
The boys do seem to have it slightly sorted. I can tell you the Prems only get 6 home games this year. Okay, so it's not always fair across any of the board. And we don't have lights here at Winston Hill, so that makes it harder for us to play night games as well. So all Friday night teams this year, we know this. Our home games are always away. Yeah.
I think also the men, because every ground's open, because there's so many games on a Saturday where females, they don't need every ground open, so they try and open as least as possible, I guess.
Okay, so how can we then entice more females to engage in football? How do we get youngsters along? How do we get over 35s back? How do we get more Prems coming back in? What do you think we can do?
I think a free training session where you welcome maybe all the mothers from the Bear Cubs and give them a go, because I think a lot of people are scared of soccer, and if they have a run around, see what it's like to have friendship and just fun, it'll encourage them all to actually sign up.
Okay, it's a very good idea.
I think Rego is probably a bit expensive to justify. Like for us, we don't get to make use of like any government vouchers or initiatives either. But we're still young people balancing uni, casual job, whatever it might be, and then to fork out $400 to play. I mean, it's great for us because we know we love the sport and we have friends. But when you're trying to pitch that to someone who's never played, doesn't know if they'll enjoy it, doesn't know if they'll get along with your team, it's a bit hard for them to justify that money. So yes, perhaps like cheaper rego, or even just for the first year, just to get them in, like a foot in the door. And then if they realize that they do enjoy it, it's not so hard to get them on your side for the years to come.
And you're right. Think about a family that might have 3 kids that are playing, and then they want to play themselves. You know, they're looking at well over $1,000, aren't they, for the season? So yeah, big money. Okay. Any other ideas how we can get more females into our game?
Schools like running more clinics, especially like young girls. Like they don't know. Like everyone, even boys too. Like they don't know what anything is until they try it, and they might like it. Like someone might like rugby, cricket, whatever it is. Just getting in some of those clinics in high school too, because I feel like a lot of people are apprehensive as well, just to try something new, or just very stubborn about it.
Great point, actually, Valentina. So we have a massive exit rate of female footballers around the age of 16 to 18. Like, did you guys, you're aware of that, I'm guessing, yeah? Do you know why, though? Is it social life? Is it now getting a job? Is it because I've got study? What's the big reason, or one of the reasons?
My friends dropped off for HSC, I think. I don't think it was
HSC, like for high school, I think, and also past that, like around 25 onwards, like people getting families, raising kids. That's another big drop off. Like the Prem's team now, like a lot of the girls I used to play with aren't playing anymore because, you know, they're either having families or people move away, things like that, like lifestyle changes.
Life changes. And I feel like trying to highlight that HSC study shouldn't be a deterrent to sport. In fact, it should probably, like, you should have sport because it's a great respite from study. Like clears your head, keeps you grounded. I could keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's strange that it is still around that time where people drop off. I think it should be the opposite.
But with their kids and stuff, again, like I said, I gave up for 9 years because I had kids. If you had some kind of training session or team where the kids were welcome and they could, I don't know, run
they
separately,
could have like a little creche situation while you trained.
Like you felt like you could go. Because with the commitment of children, it's hard. It's hard to find time for yourself.
Certainly is. So something along the lines of like a Wednesday night at 7:30, you bring your kids down and there's a coach that takes the kids away from you.
Yep.
And then the parents, and they're there, serious, and then the parents get to go and have a kick around for half an hour as well.
Yeah.
So you could get your kick around, get your energy out. The kids, you get half an hour away from the kids. Someone's looking after them. They're learning something like the little kickers program that we do.
Yeah.
But then we've got big kickers as well. You know, something along the lines of that. Okay.
I've spoken to a lot of mums trying to get them to join because obviously as our team gets older, we do have people drop off. And there's a lot keen, but they're not willing to part with the 400 or worry about injury or, you know, what do we do with the kids? And if you gave them the opportunity to try it or try training, like you said, cheaper rego the first year just to keep people in.
Okay.
Something like that, I think you'd get a lot more mums coming back to sport.
Very good. Right. One more question for you. Some of you have refereed, currently refereeing. So why did you decide to referee? Don't say because your dad made you either, all right? You can't say that.
I don't know. I guess I decided to referee because I'm only 14 and I don't really have a way to earn any pocket money or anything like that. So it's something different and fun to try. And like it's not boring. Like Macca's, working at Macca's or KFC would be really boring. But working as a referee, it's fun and interesting. You still earn money from it.
Excellent. So, Charlie, you were refereeing for a while. Why give it up?
Well, I started refereeing because I knew the sport and I thought it would be fun to kind of get them started on the soccer journey, if that makes sense. Kind of get them used to the rules. And then I kind of stopped because I didn't have the time anymore with other activities and running around.
You turn to the dark side, she's playing netball.
Does make it harder. Okay. Who else was refereeing? Anyone? Volunteer? Yeah.
Yeah, I refereed because I wanted a way to earn money when I was 17. That wasn't going to be too much of a commitment because, you know, if you can't referee one weekend, it's not a big deal. And I quit just simply because I needed more hours, things like that. And I mean, it was great for the fitness, like being paid to run like for 3 games, like, but it is a tax on the body, especially like those cold nights where your fingers, you can't feel them anymore. Like it's a good job for a while, but not something you can do for a long time unless you're very passionate about it.
Okay, we're just about wrapping up here. Is there anything you'd like to discuss about female football before we move on?
I just want to say that I think even just in my short time playing, I mean, it's a decade, so maybe it's not so short. But I've noticed like a stronger uptake and growth in female football. Like even from when I started playing, there was 1 division, now there's 2 or 3, which is, an increase. Even around the Matildas and the upcoming Women's World Cup, which I'm super excited to go watch. I just think it's growing, and I'm super excited to see where it goes and what athletes come out of it. I can't wait.
Yeah, we could even do a social thing to start off, like watching the World Cup games together or something.
Will there be something happening here at the club? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, I want to just say again, thank you very much for giving up your time tonight. Really do appreciate it. I hope people at home have got some insights into female football, at least here at Winston Hills. So again, thank you very much, ladies. Awesome. Thank you very much. Cheers.